ill, and the latter a persistent anger. Temper used alone in the sense of anger is colloquial, though we may correctly say a hot temper, a fiery temper, etc. Passion, though a word of far wider application, may in the singular be employed to denote anger. Did put me in a towering passion. Shakespeare, Hamlet, Act 5, Scene 2. Anger is violent and vindictive emotion, which is sharp, sudden, and, like all violent passions, necessarily brief. Resentment, a feeling back or feeling over again, is persistent, the bitter brooding over injuries. Exasperation, a roughening, is a hot, superficial intensity of anger, demanding instant expression. Rage drives one beyond the bounds of prudence or discretion. Fury is stronger yet, and sweeps one away into uncontrollable violence. Anger is personal and usually selfish, aroused by real or supposed wrong to oneself, and directed specifically and intensely against the person who is viewed as blameworthy. Indignation is impersonal and unselfish displeasure at unworthy acts. Latin, indigna, i.e., at wrong as wrong. Pure indignation is not followed by regret, and needs no repentance. It is also more self-controlled than anger. Anger is commonly a sin. Indignation is often a duty. Wrath is deep and perhaps vengeful displeasure, as when the people of Nazareth were filled with wrath at the plain words of Jesus. Luke 4:28. It may, however, simply express the culmination of righteous indignation, without malice in a pure being, as the wrath of God. Impatience, fretfulness, irritation, peevishness, pettishness, petulance, and vexation express the slighter forms of anger. Irritation, petulance, and vexation are temporary and for immediate cause. Fretfulness, pettishness, and peevishness are chronic states finding in any petty matter an occasion for their exercise. Compare acrimony, enmity, hatred. Antonyms: amiability, charity, forbearance, gentleness, leniency, lenity, long-suffering, love, mildness, patience, peace, peaceableness, peacefulness, self-control, self-restraint. Prepositions: anger at the insult prompted the reply. Anger toward the offender exaggerates the offense. Animal. Synonyms: beast, brute, fauna, living creature, living organism, sentient being. An animal is a sentient being, distinct from inanimate matter and from vegetable life on the one side and from mental and spiritual existence on the other. Thus man is properly classified as an animal. But because the animal life is the lowest and rudest part of his being, and that which he shares with inferior creatures, to call any individual man an animal is to imply that the animal nature has undue supremacy, and so is deep condemnation or utter insult. The brute is the animal viewed as dull to all finer feeling. The beast is looked upon as a being of appetites. To call a man a brute is to imply that he is unfeeling and cruel. To call him a beast is to indicate that he is vilely sensual. We speak of the cruel father as a brute to his children, of the drunkard as making a beast of himself. So firmly are these figurative senses established that we now incline to avoid applying brute or beast to any creature, as a horse or dog, for which we have an affection. We prefer in such cases the word animal. Creature is a word of wide signification, including all the things that God has created, whether inanimate objects, plants, animals, angels, or men. The animals of a region are collectively called its fauna. Antonyms: angel, inanimate object, man, material, matter, mind, mineral, soul, spirit, substance, vegetable. Announce. Synonyms: advertise, circulate, communicate, declare, enunciate, give notice of, give out, herald, make known, notify, proclaim, promulgate, propound, publish, report. Reveal, say, spread abroad, state, tell. To announce is to give intelligence of in some formal or public way. We may announce that which has occurred or that which is to occur, though the word is chiefly used in the anticipative sense. We announce a book when it is in press, a guest when he arrives. We advertise our business, communicate our intentions, enunciate our views. We notify an individual, give notice to the public. Declare has often an authoritative force. To declare war is to cause war to be, where before there may have been only hostilities. We say declare war, proclaim peace. We propound a question or an argument, promulgate the views of a sect or party, or the decision of a court, etc. We report an interview, reveal a secret, herald the coming of some distinguished person or great event. Publish in popular usage is becoming closely restricted to the sense of issuing through the press. We announce a book that is to be published. Antonyms: bury, conceal, cover up, hide, hush, keep back, keep secret, secrete, suppress, withhold. Prepositions: the event was announced to the family by telegraph. Answer. Synonyms: rejoinder, repartee, reply, response, retort. A verbal answer is a return of words to something that seems to call for them, and is made to a charge as well as to a question. An answer may even be made to an unspoken implication or manifestation. See Luke 5:22. In a wider sense, anything said or done in return for some word, action, or suggestion of another may be called an answer. The blow of an enraged man, the whinny of a horse, the howling of the wind, the movement of a bolt in a lock, an echo, etc., may each be an answer to some word or movement. A reply is an unfolding, and ordinarily implies thought and intelligence. A rejoinder is strictly an answer to a reply, though often used in the general sense of answer, but always with the implication of something more or less controversial or opposed, though lacking the conclusiveness applied in answer. An answer in the full sense, to a charge, an argument, or an objection, is adequate, and finally refutes and disposes of it. A reply or a rejoinder may be quite inadequate, so that one may say, "This reply is not an answer." "I am ready with an answer" means far more than "I am ready with a reply." A response is accordant or harmonious, designed or adapted to carry on the thought of the words that called it forth, as the responses in a liturgical service, or to meet the wish of him who seeks it, as the appeal for aid met a prompt and hearty response. Repartee is a prompt, witty, and commonly good-natured answer to some argument or attack. A retort may also be witty, but is severe and may be even savage in its intensity. Prepositions: an answer in writing or by word of mouth to the question. Section 7.